Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our Song of Ice and Fire Game of Thrones tabletop role playing campaign After the Fire. I am joined by four luxurious human beings who are here to play this game with me, have a laugh generally, and enjoy the juicy fruits one more time. Let's go round, have a chat with everybody. I don't know what you're pointing at.
No, that
And
was my one more time.
one more time.
One more time.
One more time. And yeah, see how everyone is doing. First on my overlay is Don. Hello, Don. How are you, my friend?
Hi. Yeah, I'm good. It feels like we haven't played. I haven't played in a very long time. It's been months and months. So I've been really looking forward to this. I really enjoyed this game and getting to play with this group of people. I've just been doing my thing, you know.
Trying to kill me in another game.
Oh yeah.
We're going hunting for a megapede, and I am going to wear its shell as a armor or some shit. Shell upon
I hope you
shell. That's
do.
what I'm going to
I'm
do.
rooting for you.
Carapace on
In,
carapace.
in in my notes, I have it like listed like all the different things that might come up based on like choices you make in that campaign, and one of them is like like what is the most ridiculous like challenging quest that they might hook into if they choose to, and it's the megapede. It's the one that like you're
Yay.
not really supposed to choose, but you chose it.
Yeah, but like you keep throwing stuff at us and we somehow win. So I don't quite know what's happened. Like
I
my
know.
my my Thrycreen barbarian ranger literally just throws himself into fights, gets eaten, doesn't give up. I'm somehow still here. I literally don't know how.
Keep carving your way out of bellies.
Yeah. I don't know how I'm doing it. One day it'll come for me, and then I'll just have to roll a new character. Thank you for the level 1 hype train, friends. That was awesome. But yeah, anything else you're up to, or any other plugs you want to give? I would like to plug your Patreon because it's a
Oh,
fantastic way for you, to support you, and we've got lots of cool little insights, cool little games, and beta bits, and one of the higher tiers is playing in the game with you. So I get to do that.
yeah. I have a Patreon, and I post like homebrew stuff that I write mostly for like my private games that I run for my patrons. I'm constantly like developing new systems and rules and stuff, and I share that with folks there. And if you join my Patreon, then next time I have an opening, a seat open, or I start a new campaign, I'll post it there. But I've been running a lot of private games more and more, and it's like it's the my favorite thing. I love it. I love it.
Awesome. Yeah. So did you say where we can find that?
Oh yeah, it's yeah, patreon.com/Donathan.
It's just that. Nice. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
That's in short and sweet. Awesome. All right then, friend. Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm looking forward to all what Samuel's going to get up to tonight, and particularly because about 2 hours before the session, you gave me an idea for a scene, so I was furiously like tap 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 tap, tap like prepping.
Yes.
So can't wait. Awesome. And we've got the luxurious tabletop horde. Hello, my friend. How are you today?
Good. It's been a busy day. I've
Yeah.
been doing secret spy game things with
Nah, you've been taking
cameras.
photos. It's not exactly secret.
Yeah. So that's been fun. I got preoccupied with looking through the core book a little bit, finding cool bits of art. But yeah, I'm excited. Like Don, I don't think I've been on since like November, December time.
Yeah, it's only session
So
2, and you weren't on last session, so yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so
But you guys, it's my
I'm
definition.
so happy to be back because I've done very little role playing between then and here, except for playing some guesting on some D&D stuff for the Does It Roll crew.
Hmm.
So it's going to be fun seeing if I can remember how Roll20 works tonight.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as ever, folks, if you need to ask a question, just do. Like, we're here to play, not to uh, try and keep up with a kind of cinema cut of. Was it Soren Schneider's cut of so and so? Like, I'm not. We're not here for Webb's cut of Game of Thrones. We're here for
Make it up
for a
as you go
tabletop
along.
game.
That's my thing with RPGs, so I'm just going to stick to that.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Cool. And you've been. I hear from Susie that you are going to be doing some kind of tactical Tuesday thing.
Yes. I was playing Siege of the Night, and Susie came and joined me, and I lured her back to the dark side of Siege because we have cookies and exploding drones.
That's fair.
So Susie and I are going to be doing Tactical Tuesday. I don't think this coming week, but starting the week after.
Nice.
So that'll be fun, sieging it up, shooting all the toxic boys. Good old times.
Yeah. Last time I dropped into one of your streams, I think you were playing Siege. There was some real talk about toxic boys. It's good.
Yeah, I went on a whole rant about why toxic masculinity from a young age is damaging to not only women but also young boys. It was like a 20-minute rant on stream, so that happens content. Occasionally.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want that and shooting people on Siege, then tabletop board's your gal.
Well, sassy apocalypse things. I'm playing Walking Dead on Mondays, so
you still doing
it's
that?
Nice. It's me being really judgmental about characters' choices in that and explaining why I think they're idiots.
Virginia will remember this. Yeah. Fair. Awesome. And for the second time this season, Jason is with us again. Hello, my friend. How are you doing?
Hello. Doing pretty all right. Can't complain. Nice balmy weather that I've been able to enjoy from the comfort of my own home. And yeah, just kind of been taking it slow, taking it easy. Got some things in the works with a few friends of mine, some co-conspirators and whatnot, that will hopefully be able to be talked about sooner rather than later. But
fair enough.
Yeah, no, just here to play Simon once again, and good Lord, see what happens after that. That he is given a deciding vote in potentially this trial, giving his expert opinion. That's dangerous. That's very dangerous.
Yeah, a little bit. Okie dokie. And welcoming back the brilliant, the talented, the marvelous, the spectacular Charlie is with us again. Hello.
I just gazed down the Zoom list, who hasn't gone yet? And then I was like, oh fuck! I realized. Thanks, Sam. One intro.
That's all right. How you doing?
Me. I'm back. I've been in a cave since December.
It's all right.
I didn't know what year it is. I didn't know what day it is. I was ready yesterday to play After the Fire because I was convinced it was Saturday. I did the whole thing. I got my light and camera rigged up. I got the wig on. I sat down. I said to my friend, right, I gotta go look for the Zoom link. I get to the ATF chat and I'm like, where the fuck is the Zoom link? I'm late. What's going on?
Yeah.
And I looked down at the thing and it was only Friday. But impromptu stream over on my channel.
Yeah. We were
I already had everything literally set up. So I was like, quick, throw my stream on, I guess.
Yeah, I would have popped in, but we were playing Warzone with Susie. But yeah. You talk? You just it was just chatting, right? You were talking about After Fire and stuff.
I had nothing really set up, to be honest. I kind of started building my overlays, and I've been waiting for some assets. So I've just kind of been putting it off a week. And I was like, oh shit. Well, I've already got my camera and everything set up. So I was like, import media source, blah 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 blah. Then I'm like, where do I find my stream key on Twitch? This is how long it's been since I've done anything.
Gotta do it.
Yeah. But I went live yesterday, and it was a good test stream. It proved the theory that I could stream ?
Totally. You've been doing it for years, so
I know. I keep reminding myself, oh yeah, actually I have been doing this a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do have all my assets, and it should all be actually properly up and running next week. I don't really know what my plan is yet, but probably going to be streaming some Red Dead roleplay because it's my life right now. I do a lot of that. I've been talking like a hillbilly since November, and that's my life. Twitch.tv/FreshFromFire.
Yeah.
Pretty sure there's an O in the from.
If there's not, just drop it.
There's not, just take it out. If you don't see my face, it's not me. That's it. That's my plugs. That's what I've been up to. Hiding under a rock.
That's
not
fair.
really playing any TTRPG.
No.
Taking a break after 2 solid years of nothing but TTRPG. Well, longer than that, really, but 2 years with Encounter.
I think at this point you're probably the healthiest of us all, really, in that regard, because we're all still plowing ahead, pretending that everything's fine and nothing crazy's happened.
Well, now I'm doing 10, 12 hours a day of Red Dead roleplay, so I've just shifted from one medium to the other. But video game roleplay is really interesting. It's been really cool to have a virtual doll's house to play in as opposed to an imaginary doll's house to play in. But I have to save this doll's house right now. I got to try my endurance to get through. Who knows? Because this will be the end of Marcy at Greenmont because she finally have gone too far.
Yeah. Look, it's going to hit you, but don't think that it's like a kind of end of the road or a kind of coming for her. It was just my brain was working, and I thought this is so like this idea I have is so dramatic and juicy. Let's try this.
Right,
So,
you've put the wildfire over at Sam's house, right? So it's all ready to go for when my big. Okay.
you still owe me a few gold dragons for that, by the way.
Amatzia always pays her debts, Sam.
Nice.
You rig your own house with explosives? Wait, what? I'm so confused.
No, not at all.
Yet.
All right. But yeah, as for me, I've been still working hard over at Modiphius during the day. We've been working on finishing up the Fallout tabletop role-playing games. You're gonna see little announcements, little bits and bobs for that soon. Don's very excited because he's been writing for it. I am very, very pleased with your adventures, my friend. They're going to be absolutely awesome showcases for people as they start role-playing in the setting. Yeah, but I've been doing all the boring things like reviewing the layout and doing the index, which is a whole new experience I have that I can put on my CV. That is a journey, friends. It's it's not particularly hard. It's just time consuming. You're just kind of like going through the book. Oh, that's important.
But you're doing the
Page
good work. I
reference.
hate TTRPG books that don't have proper indexing. Drives me
Now you know,
insane.
Sam. Now
Yeah.
you know the pain.
No, true. Yeah, I made Virginia do it one time last year or year and a half ago. So, yeah. No, I took it upon myself this time. Don't worry. And we've got some very exciting news with the Spy game. We're just about to fulfill physical pledges. And it will go on sale onto like retail stores and on our website and everything like that, and on Diffus's shop as well shortly after. So we're like almost there, and it's going to be awesome when we see people get it in their hands. I'm going to be very, very happy when that happens. So if you're watching and you backed it and you're going to get it, then post it on social media, tag us in it and stuff, because I will be on the lookout for it, and I'll be really excited when you get it. Alrighty then. Let's kick off then. This is episode 2 of our 5th season, and this episode is called The Gods Will Decide. Samwell. As you slowly trot through the soft mud of the Tarly camp, just with high gardens, white towers and walls off on the horizon, you're just kind of clopping through casually out towards to go for a hunt, to get some more game, get some more deer, that kind of thing, for the camp itself. You could see as you head out towards the east, there's a storm coming on the horizon, and there's already a drizzle of rain that's falling onto you and kind of soaking now a little bit into your leathers, into your furs, but it does nothing to dampen the Tarly spirit in the camp. With its revelry already several days in, there's been this kind of continuous party atmosphere, almost festival atmosphere, as you've camped out here and the soldiers have got a chance kind of to sit around and enjoy themselves. There's a bit of prep, there's a bit of camp work to do and chores and stuff, but that's mostly taken care of by the camp followers. And then every evening and by night, the camp is full of singers and full of entertainment and drinking and dancing and revelry. This morning, under tarpaulins and tents and those kind of coverings, singers litter the camp still, surrounded by groups of soldiers, and there's the kind of dregs of people singing rousing songs like Iron Lances or Seven Swords for Seven Sons, and there's the occasional bawdy tune that takes your ear, like The Dornishman's Wife. Played here particularly for the audience. Of those, so I'm interested to hear, you've been Don, Virginia, you've been conspiring about a song, right? I'm interested to hear what little licks of lyrics to people here in camp that, you know, is this kind of song that's being put together here that might not look favourably too much on certain liege lords in the area. You don't have to sing it, I'm just interested in it.
I mean, it's very much, the song kind of starts out making it doesn't call out Lord Leo directly, but it very much kind of points out that he's very showy. He's a tawny knight he's very pretty to, look at in that sense, but perhaps roses aren't, they're pretty and that's about it. Is the kind of general
That's the vibe.
feeling, at least around that. It's just but it's not too blatant. It's kind of very upbeat and jovial and meant to be kind of fun in that sense, kind of like the way in a court jester would make fun of, the ruling monarch. In that kind of that's how it sounds anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
We talked about like this idea that it would be very rhymable and like just slightly offensive, so that maybe as more soldiers, because like House Tarly, Samwell been sending out scouts and letters to nearby banner lords and houses saying, hey, we've got a big host here, it's a great time, come join us. And so, as more and more people are coming and drinking at night, maybe it's the kind of song that encourages them to write their own verses and maybe take it a step further and a
I
step
like
further.
that.
Slightly limerick style almost in its rhyming. I'm going to set it to music at some point. I just need time.
Okay. Nice. All right. Cool. For sure. But I mean, at this point, I think having taken on some supplies from home, and with nothing available from Highgarden, unless you want to actually issue some payment, the wine in particular is not the best quality. It's a cloudy white, or it's a heavily cemented red from a kind of second or third grape pressing, and the two of you can tell. But you have decided to fly in the face of your liege lord's claim on the meadows and the fields and the plains surrounding Highgarden and poach, effectively, on his lands. And so this is you heading out here now to take any game for yourself. So we rarely do this in game, but I wonder if you want to give me a survival hunt check.
Oh goodness!
I'm going to whip out
what
the yeah, sure. I'm going to whip out what the rulebook actually says about this. And you'll have some. Who are you taking with you? You'll have some, I guess, some guards. You'll have some, maybe the scouts or some hunters or something.
Right. I think Gregor's there. His squire. His squire is definitely with him.
He's moaning about the rain.
And yeah, every single day, Samwell would encourage, we work hard and we play hard. And working hard for this host is hunting on Leo Tyrell's land to provide as much food for the nighttime as possible. So they eat what they catch. And so he encourages, multiple hunting parties to go out every single day into the meadows and wherever they can. Over the course of the days, they probably have to go a little bit further and further out. And for him, for Samwell and his group, he would take his squire, he would invite his father, he would invite some of the House Tarly knights, this sort of inner sanctum of knights that are there with them. Any of the other lords, even the Oakharts, Lord Oakheart, if he wanted to come as well.
Okay. I was thinking about this actually. I reckon that Lord John, obviously, and his lady wife have headed up, probably with the host, stayed towards the back, stayed out of yours and Mara's way, I would imagine, as much as they can. There's probably been some awkward moments, some awkward conversation. But they've now moved on to the court and Highgarden, I think, just recently in the last couple of days. But yeah, there is a young lord or two, even a lady with a bow or two as well. Who?
Oh, I had this question, Sam. Would Lord Peake have joined us?
No, Ellery is looking after. He was asked to stay.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was
He's
reviewing
taking care of the
videos
kid.
for as I was reviewing videos
Okay.
for Millie. I heard Susie say that. So he's still at Fox Hollow, and he's really nearby too because he's got to help. He's got to oversee Blackmont as well. So he's still down south. Okie dokie. So I mean, look, I get your own +1 bonus dice because of having a group here and some assistance. But I like that Samwell would go out with the gang, that he's working too. This is probably a little bit more has a little bit more joy, a little bit more fun in it than the other foraging and hunting parties, but he's still doing a worthwhile task, you know.
And it should be noted too, and his father would definitely know this, that while Samuel has taken very strongly over the past few years to his training as a knight, he's not the greatest hunter in the family. It's a family of great hunters, and he's not the best personally, but he always goes out, he always has fun, he always tries to encourage all of the people around him to just enjoy themselves. And so he's really trying to play like host of this big party every single day, and he's probably pretty exhausted after the last few weeks and everything that's happened, but he's not showing it.
Yeah, fair enough.
15.
A 15. Let's have a look. Verdant Wilderness, no. Oh, okay. That's the difficulty modifier. It's fall, so autumn, so it's -5 to that. Yeah, good success. A success test provides enough food out for one person for 1 day per degree. I don't think there's anything else that would really modify that. So you spend a good 6 hours hunting for a deer or a boar or some game in the kind of the woods and the meadows that are around Highgarden itself. Is there anything just for flavor that you'd love to catch? Is there anything symbolic that we could grab? I don't know.
Yeah, I think that maybe the group's been hunting a boar or like looking, maybe they found a piglet early in the day. And now they're trying, they've been trying to find the mother. And
Okay, yeah.
There's a moment where they kind of go off in one direction, and Samuel notices a little hole in the hill. And he stops and he hops off of his horse and onto the ground, and his boots are heavy in the mud. He can feel the rain and kind of pulls his hair out of his eyes, and he smiles. And while they're off hunting that boar, he bends down and he snaps his hand into that hole, and he squeezes, and he hears a crunch, and he just slowly slides a fox from the hole. And he takes it back to his horse, he straps it to the saddle, and he hops on and just gently goes down the hill to follow the rest of the party, who've probably caught the boar at that point. Like he catches them just as they've managed to catch the boar and kill it.
Yeah, for sure. Couple of the hunters that are with you while they're stringing up the boar, and they're probably throwing it over the back of one of their horses. They give you a bit of a kind of lordly clap, and one of them points at, it's probably Gregor actually that points at the fox and says, "Fitting, I guess, my lord."
The boar or the fox? Yes, we could use all the food that we can get, Gregor.
Well, if you say so, my lord.
Gregor, how are you enjoying the camp so far? We haven't spoken in a few days. I know you had a sweetheart back in Fox Hollow, right?
Oh yeah. She followed us here actually. Then left me for a fella in the archers.
I'm sorry to hear that, Gregor, but perhaps while we're in Highgarden, you'll meet someone better.
A lot of golden roses, they say.
Gregor, while you've been in camp, have you heard anything, I don't know, interesting, any new people coming into camp, but you're not really sure who they are or what house they serve from?
Plenty of people coming and going. Plenty of singers too. I'm surprised by that, how many there are here. Don't think I see the same one twice, to be fair.
Yes, well, all of the bards are welcome. I enjoy music.
Should
Nothing strange, though, Gregor.
should I be looking, my lord?
I would actually rather appreciate it if perhaps you kept your ear to the ground. I feel that some people in the camp wouldn't come to me with information, but you might hear things that I never would.
I'll try, my lord, but not many people that speak to me, I must say.
Why not? You're a charismatic fellow.
He kind of sits back on his horse. He's like, oh, thank you, my lord. Yeah, be good to get out of this rain.
Yes, well, perhaps tonight when we return, we should try to do what we can to create more coverings for the camp, keep it as dry as possible. Perhaps cut down some trees nearby in the meadows. I'm sure Lord Leo won't miss them.
I don't know if he's much of a tree man, my lord. But yeah, we're gonna have to do a lot of covering and a lot of ditch digging probably if that storm comes to pass.
Well, let's get started.
When you say that, there's the twang of an arrow on bark as a few trees away, as you snap round and the group all looks round to see it. Away from everyone, so that it's obvious that that arrow was not intended for a person, an arrow sticks out of one of the beech trees just beyond you. And then riding up in a group on a mix of palfreys and coursers from chestnut brown all the way through to the greys that Highgarden's famous for. You see a group of guards. They don't look knightly to you, many of them, but they are headed by a knight that you will recognise, certainly, from your time around court and around Highgarden and the Reach in particular. And this is Sir Wayne Oakheart. His tall frame sat high in a chestnut courser with a kind of with mail armour covered in leathers. And he still wears the tabard of his house, while a banner rides behind him of Highgarden, with the golden rose on the green field. He yells over as he rides up arrogantly and stops his courser. Hold!
Samuel flashes a smile, a big, big smile to Gregor, and just sort of jerks his head subtly towards the direction of Sir Gawain, and he digs his heel just into his horse a little bit to ride forward in the direction of Sir Gawain, holds up his fist into the air and calls over, "Good afternoon, Sir Gawain."
Sir Tarly. This is a shame. We'd heard of rumours of poachers, hunters, without papers. I thought, at least didn't hope, that it was the Tarly camp. But now I can tell you and your men have decided to make light of my lord's claim on these meadows.
Sir Gawain, I make light of nothing. In fact, us being here is quite serious business. There is justice to be had, and we are here to ensure it is done. And we must eat.
There is plenty of food at Highgarden, my lord.
I thought it might be a kindness that our host didn't enter Highgarden in its entirety. I'm sure Lord Leo would appreciate that as well.
I'm sure, given the reports of your number and how long you've been here, Lord Hightower would be fairly quick in estimating the cost you've incurred on these lands for the game, for the deer that you've probably hunted. This boar will fetch a few silver for a start.
Yes, well, perhaps Lord Hightower can figure it into our taxes.
Those taxes your father so diligently pays, of course.
I am not my family's accountant. Sir Gawain, I'm just a knight.
At least then, knight to knight, show us some honour and honour the money that you owe, my lord.
For this boar right here.
And the rest.
As I said, my friend, we will pay in full. We can come to an arrangement. I'm certain of that. There are more pressing matters currently, though. The trial, for instance, and justice.
Oh, of course, and the trial will begin momentarily, but... Sorry, no, he won't say momentarily because that implies that it's about to happen. But it'll happen, like, you know,
happen.
yeah.
Panic.
No. And of course, you won't be waiting long, my lord. And he kind of rides up slowly towards you, and he brings himself... Hang on, what hand am I? He brings himself up onto your right-hand side. You'd recognize that move, I think, being a knight, that as most, if not all of you, are taught right-handed, that that is effectively that's the best side you want to be on. If you're defending, you want to be on the left because you've got your shield. If you want to be attacking, you want to be on the right-hand side. And he's got one hand on the reins and one hand just on his lap, just on his left leg, just casually. But he rides up, and he's kind of looking down and looking kind of somewhat broody, to be fair, as he rides up. But he trots up to you so that he can get within earshot of you. And as you are literally horse to horse, maybe only a couple of feet between the two of you now, he says, if you think you can sully the name of what was a very noble house in the Reach by playing these little games, taking what's not yours, may the gods look entirely unfavourably on you. You call yourself a knight, sir?
The smile fades to sort of a thin lip, non-expression. And he reaches down to unhitch the fox tied to his saddle. And he holds it up. And he leans a little bit closer to Sir Gawain. And he says, anything that I have, anything that you have, your great house, my great house, the Reach, we have because someone at some point took it. We're all trying to take things in this life, Sir Gawain. But everything I do, I promise you, I do for the Reach. Your house, my house, You and I, in my opinion, are friends. And we can make the Reach a better place, a stronger place, not just for its lords and its ladies, but for its small folk too. I encourage you to be on the right side of history, Sir Gawain, to be bold.
You speak of lofty matters for someone who's fucking my cousin's wife.
Sir Gawain, I don't see how that has anything to do with the Reach.
It has everything to do with the Reach.
Please, take this to heart. I have no quarrel with you. You can choose to have a quarrel with me. But I would not recommend it.
Okay. I need you to roll quickness for me. Agility quickness.
Switch to combat. Here we go.
Agility quickness.
Yeah, this is just initiative just to start. I just want to see what your reactions are like for this.
Sure. $18.
Oof. A 9. Okay. A mailed glove fist comes for your face, but you have just enough time to duck just back, and it just glances past your nose. You have a chance now to react how you'd like.
I'm going to toss the dead fox right into Sir Gawain's face and then just start to ride off.
Cool. Okay. I mean,
He
I
pursues
think...
me, you know.
Yeah.
Then we'll see.
No, I mean, you hear a whinny from a horse, and then Gregor's riding up beside you. Just as you start to ride off, he rides first, and the rest of the group kind of quickly kind of scramble around to get back onto horses, get the boar on attached properly and everything. You don't hear a scrap kick off. You don't hear guards approach and manhandle anybody. But as Gregor rides up, like next to you, then you hear him shout, "He's turning, my lord. Going back, by the looks."
Glance over his shoulders. Is he turning towards us, towards me, or is he turning back towards Highgarden?
He's turning back towards Highgarden, and you see his horse like whinny and whatever that motion is, goes up and then turns and back down and then rides off towards Highgarden, and he's going at a gallop as well, like he's really heading there.
Samuel's easy smile comes back, and he sort of laughs and says, "Don't worry about it, Gregor. Let's go back to camp, bring our spoils, set up our canopy, and begin another night's revelries. I would like the fires tonight to burn a little brighter, I think."
Nice. All right. Simon, you make your way under the escort of a solitary Highgarden garrisonman through some of the less travelled corridors at the rear of Highgarden's keep. and normally the soft kind of bleached creamy stone turns to slightly more of a damp kind of green that drips with some mildew and some mold occasionally in the corners. And there are sconces that are like just still lit or having to be lit ahead of you as you proceed down the corridor. And then you descend a couple of staircases, straight down first, and then a right angle again, and then somehow a right angle again, so that there's no quick way to traverse these if someone to try and run up them or escape. You eventually make your way down into the dungeons, and one of the first rooms that you come to, one of the first doors, once that you've gone past a gate that a jailer has unlocked for you, is a door, great oak door with iron barding that, once creaked opened, leads into a jail cell that is quite large, has more amenities than you would ever have thought in a jail cell. Has a desk, has some writing papers, even has a couple of books on the desk. It has sconces on the walls with torches that are lit. It has a bed, a straw bed with bedding. And so it looks as if, at least, the Lady of Fox Hollow is being looked after. Marzia is inside. Charlie, how do we find Marzia as Simon enters your jail cell?
I think she is perched on the bed, and she's got that vacant expression of someone staring into the midground, her hands resting in her lap, wearing a very simple, for us, season 1 style dress, very early lady of the house. I think to the side of her, laid out, is probably a finer dress for when she has to go and do court appearances, that kind of a thing. But she's in much more simple things. And on her bedside table, there's a number of herbs that have been kind of crushed and are in the middle of being milled to make something.
Okay, yeah. I mean, as you care to look around, if you do, Maester Simon enters your jail cell. His chain now hanging around his neck. His Maester's robe is as it should be, I guess. Anything else that she would notice there, Jason?
They've only had probably brief interactions, but I think she would note that his expression is oddly lifeless, sort of vacant. And one of the things that she does notice is that the closer he gets to the room, and whenever he's in it, he weaves his fingers sort of in strange configurations. Sometimes the knuckles crack, sometimes they don't. It's just a nervous tick that he seems to have. And he would turn to the guard, nod, and just wait for them to leave.
Sure, okay. So they will close the door behind you, I imagine. Just keeping it, just an inch ajar, and stood on the other side. As would be typical, I think.
He would go back and shut the door completely.
Mm-hmm.
And then make his way over to her. His gaze would be vacant. He'd be looking just up and down before speaking, as he's like properly socially distanced 6 feet away. You have found yourself here on suspicions which I'm sure you're well aware of.
You imply this isn't a circumstance of my own making. Just been washed downstream. Is that how you see it?
He'll actually kneel before her and just look up. I see this as an opportunity for you to claim innocence. To claim, however, is not for it to be true.
I suppose this is your opportunity to claim loyalty. To claim, but not to be true. What counsel are you bringing me, Maester?
Counsel,
Ex-Maester? Ex-Greenmont?
I have been asked by the Lord Leo Tyrell to make a determination as to whether or not you may or may not possess the powers of which you are accused. Now, you see, this is rather difficult for me. He'll stand at that point. Given that royal decree prevents me from claiming you in line with the rumors that had circulated some time ago. So, to my mind, there are two roads that we may walk down, together or apart.
I enjoy watching your mind try and fathom that there are only two roads, and all of Westeros lies before us. Work away, Maester. You could never understand. You don't know what it is to be faithful. You don't know what it is to keep a vow. What it is to believe in anything. And she'll unclasp her hands and kind of raise them up to say, take your lick, take your shot. And Sam, we should probably take it to intrigue.
Cool. All right. I'd like both of you to roll status breeding, please.
Does my
man.
head of house still apply?
Yeah, so you'd get a +2 to your result.
Why did I have to? I have a penalty die in that.
So that'd be a 16 total for me.
Cool.
10.
Yeah, so Marzia will go first, and Simon after, but just be back and forth to see the only two in it. Yeah, so have a think about what your objective is for each of you that you have, and then just before we start, they can evolve obviously as you roleplay, but pick a technique you want to use from your persuasion specialties, and you can sub out for deception instead if you want. And then also, just beforehand, pick a technique you want to use. So this could be a straight up influence where you want to try and deal with some composure kind of damage to the person. But there are also some kind of funky options like fast talking and stuff like that. And yeah, let's get that cheat sheet out as well. On the drive.
Moderate panic as Charlie realizes she hasn't looked at the cheat sheet in like 6 months.
Totally. That's all right. I'll whip it out the drive as well. It's always the way when you take a break from something as well. I've just been running this game for so.
I thought I had
frickin'
everything,
long.
and I was like, oh yeah, that's the thing we need. Our own made up rules. I remember now.
Where did it go? Oh no.
V's linked it.
Beautiful.
In Zoomies.
Yeah. Has that worked for you?
Yes.
Fab. Yeah, so that gives you a good idea. We're still going to use the kind of simplified dispositions, so it's just the armor, basically. And it was in my recent opens for my PDF reader. But I should be okay with it. Anyway, so yeah. Have a think about what technique you'd like to use, and then what action you'd actually like to take, and then we can open up the roleplay as the first exchange. And the roleplay can be as kind of free-flowing as you like, and then, Charlie, you'll have an opportunity when you want to take your first action.
Okay. I think she'll turn her chin just slightly towards the door, and she's gonna call for the guard to come back in, and to bring some food and wine. Essentially, that's her entire action. She is just ignoring Simon altogether now. Passive aggressive. I'm hungry. Do whatever you're gonna do. I'm gonna carry on with my day.
Ooh, I mean that you could even say that's like a taunt with influence if you wanted.
Yeah, I was thinking either doing it as a taunt,
Mhm.
or yeah, I think taunt is probably the closest actually.
Sure. Yeah, it's like it could be intimidate as well, if you thought that.
Or maybe manipulate.
Yeah, so manipulate. You pick your target's next technique, but not necessarily their next action. So you'd pick one of the specialties for them to have to use as you kind of
I guess
put them in that
like
conversation.
the action of it is more of a read target, right? She's doing something to provoke a reaction from him, see if he does
Okay.
anything in return to her, like
Yeah.
passive aggressive. But I think the technique would be a taunt.
Yeah. Okay, nice. So if you roll an awareness empathy check, then please, then you'll get. So this is against Simon's passive deception. So his deception rank times 4, and that's the little number in your sheet. Against a 10. No.
Nope.
No. Okay. So you don't elicit much, the reaction maybe you're looking for out of him. But yeah, Simon Marzia essentially just orders some food and just kind of ignores you for a moment.
Ooh, okay. Okay, I think this would probably be a consider action. Just sort of like letting the dead space hang between them still, and just, if you say there are more than 2 roads, there have to be more. So just expanding those options and taking those 2 bonus dice with me.
Yeah, sure thing. So you'll take 2 bonus dice into your next exchange, but you can't save them after that, I don't think. Unless you got the quality. All right. Yeah, so back over to the next exchange. What I'll say is that a guard comes in with some food. It's just like a simple stew of some lamb in like a chestnut and mint kind of broth. And then there is a cup of wine for you as well.
And her hand goes out to some of those crushed. I think it's gonna look kind of like a crushed dried flower, kind of purpley in color. And she'll take it and she'll sprinkle it into the wine and kind of gently just swirl it, and just be watching the crushed petals kind of dance around in the liquid. And then her eyes will go up and she'll look at Simon. Am I keeping you? Did you have questions? You're here to observe? Do you have some methodology prepared?
Was going to simply ask you what the truth of it was. Figured that would be a start. You're performing an augury, and he sort of looks to the petals in the wine.
See for yourself. And she'll hold out the wine glass to him.
He'll just sort of look into it, rather disinterested. Would be a perfect opportunity for you to splash it into my face.
Why would I waste good wine? She'll bring it back and take a swallow. Surprised you weren't suspicious it was poison.
You're not
I
a
shall look to
poisoner.
him again. You're right, I'm not. What am I, Simon?
That is for you to tell me.
No, I believe your audit is for you to decide.
That is the order. But you of all people should know men rarely follow orders. I am giving you an opportunity to escape punishment. All I ask in return is a return to the quiet dignity that your house has always held.
Men rarely listen to women. And what do you know of quiet dignity?
More than you may think.
I don't think you know anything of the quiet. And she'll swallow down the rest of that wine cup and place it down to the side. What is it you want? You come to bargain. You've laid out your hand. What is it that you want?
A simple separation. A divorce from responsibility. From you to Mara. From myself to this house. This web made of red grass that we find ourselves entangled in. It's
Grass is
stained
red
us.
from the blood, Simon. You're free. You're released. Greenmont has no use of you. Is that what you want? Have it.
I've unfortunately known that for some time.
That isn't what you want, though. If really it is that you want to return and have some position, then say that.
In a dying house with a lady who is accused of murder. Yes, surely I would be richly rewarded with such a position.
Instead, you stay in a decaying institution, bound by chains to a harlot and her dog.
I serve them on invitation. I can rescind it whenever I like.
What a free and easy life you lead. There's the door.
Tempting, but I rather think that if I leave and am unsatisfied, perhaps the results would fall quite terribly upon you. He'll turn on his heel and just sort of pace the room.
I think more is the problem that if you leave, you'll never know. And isn't that the problem, Simon? You really want to know. Isn't that always the Maester's problem? You need an answer. Little books, little birds, little people. Big gods, big destinies. Wars, massacres, bank accounts, taxes. I have a question for you, Simon, before I'll answer yours. Who do you serve? And I want to incite him, so.
Yeah, sure thing.
Fair enough.
Okay. Let me double check what I need to do.
Cool. So insight is the persuasion specialty.
yes.
Any influence you deal will be your cunning rank. If you want to use influence, you don't have to. If you want to influence, you don't have to try and like deal damage. You can fast talk. You can try and manipulate him into using a different technique. You can try to retarget again if you want.
Let's try a fast talk because she's trying to turn this on him and take the power away from him in this situation.
Sure, absolutely. So, okay, if you roll your insight then.
Persuasion, and I'm going to use one of my +1 test dice.
Beautiful.
Which will bring me up to a 5 in persuasion today.
Very nice. All right.
That's not good.
You've got 4 in your frame as well.
20.
All right. Against your passive will, Simon.
Not 20. It's 12.
Okay. You lose your cunning rank from your intrigue defense until the end of the next exchange.
Oh, my cunning's real high. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
She's kind of bamboozled you by that question. And so we need to see how he answers.
Ow. Wait a minute. Do I get a roll or hang on?
Yeah, you get an action now, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think kind of your action's going to be linked to your answer in this second, right? Unless you know what, unless you want to relate what you were doing with this action, with this test.
No, I think this will work.
Okay.
So it was an insight, turning all of these things. She'll note there's a visible deterioration in his demeanor. Like he starts, instead of pulling at himself, instead of twiddling about with his fingers, he sort of pulls at the chains a little bit more taut, sort of bounces them together before looking to her very pointedly. You mentioned many things. And you ask who I serve. There's only one that can encompass all that you have mentioned. The realm. And for true servants of the realm, I am more than happy to oblige lenience, understanding, devotion. Something you have proven time and again. Prove it once more. And simply tell me the truth. Then I will have my determination. And then you will know if you can walk from these halls or if you will be carried.
All right, what's your action?
Bargain.
Cool.
Straight up influence, and I'm going to use.
Sure.
I'm going to use the 2 bonus die that I.
Yep, the 2 from the consider.
Yep.
You got 2 bonus
2
dice. Yep.
From the consider, and you know what? 1 test die.
Sure.
So I'm going to use.
You could hit the custom roll macro if you wanted.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to. So, or actually, I'm going to use deception.
Okay.
Bluff.
Okay.
Because I think that's what.
Like you're not really going to pay out if she bargains.
I just want to know. Like I don't care about the rest of it. But
cool.
And then 2 bonus die to bluff. So that's 2 bonus die of 2, no penalties, and huzzah, a 24.
24 against your intrigue defense.
My intrigue defense is 13.
Don't help me
It's
out
not
here.
double.
No, it's not quite. No.
3 degrees.
3 degrees of success. So
right.
3 times your cunning rank.
My cunning rank is 4.
12 composure damage minus your DR.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we are back up to the top of the round with Simon kind of offering that bargain.
You ask the question as if it's an incredibly simple one. Be specific. What
This
is it
house
you
will-
want to know, Simon? What is it you want to know?
Well, since you ask so cordially, is she situated on one of the chairs or
She sat on the edge of the bed.
edge of the bed? Okay.
Mhm.
He's going to stand like parallel to her, but facing the opposite direction that she's facing, as if he's sort of talking to the wall instead of her. I just want to know if you meant to kill her.
I have killed no one. Name her, Simon.
The one which you are accused of attempting to murder.
Coward.
Lady Mara Oakheart.
Did you intend to kill Miria when you sent her on a fool's errand to strike at one of your enemies? Simon Maester of the Citadel. Question for you. Whose cock did you suck that you now end up asking me these questions?
Funny. Insults. You turn to these because it is your last refuge.
No, I see no other way you could do it than to be on your knees. But you are a lowly thing, are you not?
A wretch, by some accounts. And yet this lowly thing can determine whether or not you are a murderer, an attempted murderer, a failed murderer.
No. That is for the gods to determine. You are nothing. Do they even see you, Simon? She reaches out a hand to that tray that was brought in with the stew, and I imagine some bread and like a lump of butter probably. And she'll take the butter knife and just slice into the butter, start spreading it on her bread.
If you intend to use that as a weapon, it's rather poorly. I think I have chains that are sharper than that.
I am not the one here who does harm. She'll continue eating her lunch.
Yes, you only fail to do so.
I'm a healer, Simon.
What have you healed?
What have you succeeded at?
Nothing in your estimation, I'm sure.
Anything in anyone's?
I suppose I could succeed in reporting to Leo Tyrell that you are indeed capable of controlling such a beast. Wonder what happens then. Do you
Do
think
it and find out.
they'll draw and quarter him, or you?
Scurry away, little rat.
Rat, cocksucker, you truly are just a remarkable, remarkable insulter. I've said worse things to me.
And you didn't listen then either. What remarkably deaf ears you have. What's the point of a conversation? I've
To make-
answered your question. You are not listening. I want to roll to do something to him.
Sure
I don't
thing.
know what the fuck I'm doing to him. Just being a bitch.
Taunt is the kind of being a bitch go-to, I guess.
Can I go with intimidate? Because she's really like
Oh,
putting her
yeah.
power on this.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's fair.
Don's suggesting we switch to combat. It's the best option.
All right. Sam, I'm gonna use another one of my bonus dice, please. Oh, not my bonus dice, my extra test dice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boom, boom, boom. 15.
From 5.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, my intrigue defense is now lowered because of the thingy from last time.
Yeah. So with every 5, what's the like degrees of success? Or just let me know your intrigue defense. We can work it out.
My intrigue defense is 5.
Okay, 3 degrees of success. Ba-bam. And it's your aware. No, hang on. Intimidate is your
I don't know what it is. Intimidate is
will rank. Will rank times 3.
15.
Ow.
15 damage minus your DR, Simon.
What's my DR? Oh dear. Oh yeah, no, that's probably that. So that's that, and still enough.
So if you would be knocked out, you can take frustration to remain here, but during the intrigue, you'll take a -1 dice penalty on all tests until the end of it.
You know what? I think I'm going to do that. It
Okay.
doesn't. It one more hit. One more hit will not. That will not compute, but it'll keep me alive. So I'm at that number right there. I think 11 minus 3 is what?
8.
8. Oh, I'm at 1. Gotcha.
Cool.
Ow.
Yeah. All right, but still in it. Did you take frustration then in the end?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, so this is crawling under your skin now at this point, and is just making him even more irrational at this stage. This is probably genuine kind of feelings of flashback and slight PTSD from when he was last at Highgarden, and this play and all of these political forces and all these people, snaking their way around the gardens. But you get a chance to take an action.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, no, this is the last shot. Okay. He's going to step away, and you see he's not screwing around anymore. His hands are actually in his pockets. He's sort of just staring daggers at her.
Mm-hmm.
And so he says, I have, beyond a shadow of a doubt, suffered more humiliations than you ever will know. If you would prefer that we become equivalent in such a regard, I could make that very easy indeed. Leave Mara and that fuckwit of a Tarly alone. Crawl back to Fox Hollow. Grovel at the roots of that fetid tree whose leaves are caked in blood. And I'll make sure that you leave this place alive. Fail to do so, meddle against the interests of the realm, I will bury you myself. Intimidation. Bluff.
Okay.
Total lie. Total
Sure.
fabrication.
Yeah. We made it up.
Made it up.
Cool. Yeah, roll act or bluff for me.
Yeah. I would also like to. You know what? That really stunk. I'm going to use a couple of test die here. Why not?
Sure thing.
Literally 2.
Yep. No worries.
So this will probably be bluff. And oh wait, gotta think. I have to use 2 because I have a -1 because of the frustration.
So you'll still roll all of the dice, but you'll take away
drop
one more than you'd normally
It'll be a
have
penalty
to.
that's taken.
It's a penalty
Gotcha.
die. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so I think that's that, with this going here. Dos y do.
22 against your intrigue defense.
Still at 13 for intrigue defense.
So it would be an 18 for 2 degrees. Just 2 degrees of success there, I believe. So that is 2 degree, twice your will rank, Simon.
6.
Okay. 6 minus your DR, Marzia. Still here?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
For sure.
My composure is disgusting.
Yeah. I remember.
So I'm gonna lose this, huh? No.
Cool.
We'll see how this goes.
You're hitting pretty hard. Like, it's down.
Yeah. At the top of the round, you can shift your dispositions up or down by 1 step, should you want. But then you will remain there. I will hold you to that after the intrigue, obviously. But yeah, new round. The effect on you, Simon, obviously is wrapped up in terms of your cunning. And Marzia, again, gets the first action. But think of your techniques and we'll go to the next exchange for that roleplay.
Marzia finishes up the mouthful of bread roll she has, considering what has been spoken. And she'll set aside again that knife and the tray. And she gives Simon the first really focused look. Really slow gaze, taking in all the features of his face. What is it you're afraid I could do tomorrow from here? I'm already a prisoner.
Where's the cat?
The cat remains at Fox Hollow until the outcome of my trial, as agreed. I think. Question mark. The cat was brought here. Did we lose that as well? Okay, fuck.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
cat is a prisoner too. Okay.
Yeah, we established at the end of the last season that they're going to kill it if you lose.
Yeah, that was the agreement.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. What is it you're afraid of that I can do tomorrow from here? Where is the cat? Fuck should I know? I'm in a box, Simon. And I don't need to grovel before the tree. The gods always see me as they see you. As they watch over all, especially those born on that mountain. Your father asked a lot about you when I came to Fox Hollow. If I had come across you. And then when I had no answer for him because I was an ignorant girl, he'd sip from his wine glass and change the conversation. What is your plan for Mara? What's your plan for the Tarly boy? That they are so important to the realm's affairs, as you dramatically put it.
Please.
What is your plan that you act as their parent? Stay away from my child. You'll never know what it is to be a parent, Simon. What it is to actually love something to that degree. What is your plan?
Plan for emancipation. For all of us. A pity we don't seem to see eye to eye.
We have different chains that bind us, I suppose. Mine are not a burden. You will always see yours as one, so they will always be one. You will know no moment of true rest or freedom. You've built your own prison. I won't ask you again. Get out of mine. And our eyes go just slamming towards the door. In full head of house, get the fuck out of my room.
Sure. Go take your action.
Yep. Intimidate again.
Cool.
It's not her specialty, but is what I do. Okay. That needs to get on that. 12. It's not great.
This is better than 5.
So 12 against Simon's intrigue defense. It's back to normal now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is back to normal, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a 9.
Yeah. So it's 1 degree of success, but it is your will rank. Well, yeah. So 5 composure damage minus your DR, Simon.
So you should be able to soak that, I would imagine. Or most of it.
5 composer damage. What? Well, there's the problem. I'm at 1. You know what? I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Whatever Marcia wants. Whatever the consequence of falling to intimidate is, go for it.
Okay. You either drive off the target or they do as you ask, so long as you remain in their presence. Their disposition towards you after completing the action worsens to unfriendly, or worse if it's already at unfriendly. So
It was already at unfriendly, so now it's at malicious.
cool. How do you leave?
I believe I have made my determination. Thank you for your time, Lady Marcia.
Thank you for the truth, Maester Simon.
Walk away.
Okay. You rap on the oak door, and a guard opens it, just pushing it. You don't hear any unlock. And then, Marcia, you see the shifting of his robes around his feet flap behind the door as he leaves. Mara, in the days of revelry and your time here at camp, you've probably gone around a fair few different little encampments, visited quite a few of the soldiers. You and Samuel were doing this kind, like in the previous season, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're doing this kind of getting to know everybody kind of thing, and you're well liked around camp. As you're about that day, you see kind of a small procession of lords and knights on horseback in various colours coming from Highgarden Keep. They slowly walk on horseback into camp, and then you are invited to an audience with a Lord Sloane, Runsel Sloane.
Is this happening while Samuel's out hunting?
Yeah, let's say that, because he spends a bit of time doing that.
Yeah, I think she, upon the invitation, she will accept, but she will bring Hunter with her, the other guard that Samuel assigned to her, since Gregor's off with the hunting party. She doesn't go anywhere without either both of them or one of them.
Sure.
If Samuel's not around. But she doesn't make an effort to dress up in anything fancy. Like around the camp, she's kind of adopted much more comfortable dresses, the kind that you could horse ride on and move around in, with this kind of almost leathery bodice that's probably been adapted from some scraps of small armor somewhere over the time that they've been traveling.
Sure.
But it's, yeah, she's taken on this look, but she will take enough time to kind of fix her hair and make sure she looks somewhat presentable, but she doesn't go for like too of a grand stately appearance. This is the look she's been keeping as she's been, you know, Samuel's been more casual around the camp with the soldiers and that kind of fitting in. But she will go along to this, what she's been invited to. Does she know who else has been invited to this audience? If Glendon Tarley has been, or...
So,
well, John's at Highgarden, right? The Oakharts have gone to the castle proper.
Yeah. So as you enter the tent flap of the main pavilion tent for the Tarleys, kind of, you know, personal area, it's Sir Glendon that greets you. And just before the rest of the Highgarden party are going to arrive, he asks you, "Are you well, Mara?"
I'm doing fine. I can't say that I have to do too much work around here. That seems to be taken care of. How are you keeping? She's very warm and friendly with him in this sense.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'm much used to travelling like this. I can't say it's been of late that I've stayed in one place like this. Almost reminds me of a siege. He says absent-mindedly, kind of with a little bit of a smile on his face. But he brings you down to a chair, and there's not a table, but there has been like a kind of semicircle of chairs have been prepared and laid out by servants, and he invites you to sit down on one, and he says, "Lord Runsel Sloane, the Highgarden Lord of Whispers, is here with an entourage, and apparently has news of the trial, of what's to happen."
Well, the sooner we get this horrible business over and done with, the happier I will be. I hope you know that I appreciate both Samuel's and your support in turning your host around for this justice. I know it's not just for me, it's a bigger problem across the Reach, but I am so grateful for you taking me in.
Of course, it's absolutely fine. "Please, some wine," he says to a servant that's just laying out the last chair. And as he does so, the tent flaps open, and stepping through is a fairly scruffy looking noble by anybody's standards, really. Lord Runsel Sloane has this mop of brown hair that rests about his neck and is kind of a rough stubble. His brow's quite heavy, and his hooded brown eyes don't seem to pay any particular attention to anyone, really. He kind of walks in the tent flap, looks fairly absent-minded in a weird kind of way. It's quite thin, and he wears some kind of faded noble garb, a doublet that's halved down the middle. On one side, on your left, his right, there is a blue field with some white stars that's been embroidered on, and on the other side there's a yellow field with an orange sun that is already fading from the cloth, and some of it looks even like a little bit unspun. And he bows quite diligently, and he, without really looking you in the eye, looks at your father-in-law, I guess, really properly. Sir Glendon.
He doesn't know it yet, but
yeah, no. bows to Sir Glendon and then bows to you. And my Lady Mara.
My
May I?
lord? Of course, please take a seat.
And he kind of sits down and he kind of rubs the chair a little bit and just regards it for a second, just looks at the craftsmanship and then sits down, crosses his legs, has to fiddle with his sword belt kind of awkwardly, like he doesn't quite know how to have sit with a sword belt really much before.
I feel like Mara probably takes the whichever seat she had previously been offered, and she's been carrying Samuel's rapier now for the last few weeks, however long it's been, since she started. And I think she kind of like almost in comparison sits down and finds it at ease. She's figured out how to make this motion now, and gestures a servant over with some wine and refreshments.
Yeah, and as a couple more knights take a seat next to him, they're, completely unimportant, unrelated to the intrigue. He thanks you for the wine. Then, as he sits down, prepares to give you the news of what's going to happen in the trial to come. First, please roll me status breeding for our initiative. And what bonus did you want Glendon to provide you with?
What?
Like a kind of a particular specialty. He could provide like a bonus dice. He could give you like an extra DR. He could.
I think whatever would feel appropriate, and that like clearly the two of them get on because he's taken her in and she's here. So I think it's kind of affording her some of his authority in that sense. Like she is the one to offer him the wine. Glendon Tarley doesn't have to do that. It's that kind of representation that she is well liked in the camp. She is building that kind of ability to ask people for things despite not really being connected to the house, at least publicly.
Yeah, sure. I mean, he can lend you +3 composure from his will. As you feel more comfortable here, you're gonna feel less impact from or you'll be able to like take more hits, as it were. Like,
that's a 12 for the status breeding.
Oh, okay. Wow, he actually did really well. Fair enough. Okay, so Lord Sloane is going to go first. After he introduces himself as Lord of Whispers at Highgarden, he says, "My lady, it's my duty to inform you that Lady Marcia has demanded a trial by ordeal. Seems she wants the gods to decide her fate. The ordeal itself, obviously, has been left up to his lordship, Lord Tyrell, being that this is essentially you having brought this case forward to the seat of Highgarden itself. He is acting on your behalf. A great red stag has been sourced from the fields outside Highgarden at great expense, and has when comes the hour on which Lady Marcia will be tried, it shall be injured and angered. She will enter the compound, and it will be her godly duty to tame it, or to die trying, maybe. If she so yields at any point, then the stag will of course be dealt with immediately. But as was his lordship's understanding, her shadow cat will be killed as recompense."
I see. It does not surprise me that she would ask for a trial by ordeal. She is a godly woman. I am at least happy that she gets to choose the means by which she proves or disproves her innocence.
Yes, well, indeed. Somewhat entirely, maybe, up to chance if you were a really devout person, but the stakes are quite high. I have seen ladies perform many incredible actions when their lives depended on it.
There is a part of me, much as I want justice for what she has done, and Mara slightly turns her face towards the still healing wound that is there now, that no longer has a covering or a bandage. She stopped hiding it.
Yeah.
Perhaps it is foolish of me not to want her dead. I have 2 younger brothers that she is a mother to. But if this is what she has chosen, that is her choice.
Well, of course. But I personally have often found that the guilty party will often try and choose an outcome such as this to favour them somehow. Knights across the Seven Kingdoms initiate trials by combat almost nightly, by all accounts. And he has that kind of weird little kind of smile laugh that kind of isn't really anything, but kind of is laughing to himself a little bit.
I think she, in a part agreement, but also in an effort to make him comfortable, kind of mirrors that little laugh. Well, if all guilty parties would take the option that wouldn't favour them, I might have to question how much they would like to live, or how innocent they were.
All right. He's going to retarget awareness, empathy again. 18 against your passive deception.
My passive deception is. That's the small number, right? Sorry, it's been so long.
Yeah, so it's 4 times your rank.
16.
Yeah. Cool. All right, so that is a success. Okay. +1 bonus dice on my tests, my influence tests for the duration of the intrigue. And what is your disposition towards Lord Sloane?
Let me find the cheat sheet because I can't remember what they are. I suppose it's indifferent. She doesn't know this man.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't met before. She hasn't heard anything particularly positive about him, but nothing terrible either. She hasn't really been at Highgarden the last few years. So
yeah.
Any knowings on about the court have either come from like Lord John when she's been at Old Oak, or have things that she has heard while she's been around Samwell and Glendon Tarly at her stays at Horn Hill. But she hasn't been at Highgarden to really form an opinion on this man.
Okay. Oh, so that was his action. What did you want to do?
I think Mara just takes a moment to kind of consider. She sips at her wine. She's very comfortable in this setting, and she kind of looks over at Glendon Tarly just to see what his face is doing. Like, has he had any kind of reaction to this, or is he just kind of listening?
He is listening, but he seems quite surprised, although he's doing a fair job of kind of hiding it. He's obviously surprised, but he's keeping it conversational, and he's, keeping it kind of along the lines of, I see, and, Yeah.
Well, my lord, when is the trial by endurance due to take place?
Oh, it's set to happen on the morrow, in fact. This is your invitation.
Well, was there any other business that you had here, or is it just to invite us to the trial?
No, not at all. I just might hope that I could take in some refreshment and perhaps some of the revelry that we have had here, by all accounts.
Please, by all means, there is wine to go around, though I will be honest with you, it is not perhaps the best. And she kind of looks at Glendon and laughs, because I'm sure that there has been a conversation over dinner about the sediment in the red wine.
You know a lot about wine?
I know some. I was fortunate enough to visit, I can't think of the name of the island, scrolling down that. I was fortunate enough to visit the Arbor a few years back. Try some of the Arbor Gold fresh itself.
Arbor is glorious. Even more so at this time of year. I'm sure if you went in spring or summer that the maturation of the wine hadn't quite really found its age yet. But yes, marvellous.
Yes, but unfortunately that is quite hard to come by at current. But perhaps if this trial goes well, there may be cause for celebration, and I can convince my Lord Tarly here to have some brought in. And she kind of laughs with him. It's kind of a joke. She's not seriously insinuating that he should order wine in for her.
He turns to Lord Tarly and says, "Oh, my lord, if you do, you should speak to some of my people at my private cellar. Perhaps we can get a decent vintage of Arbor Gold. Something pre-red wine, perhaps."
You enjoy your wine then, my lord?
As any man does. as any lady does.
The
He
good
kind of-
ones, at least.
Yeah, he laughs at that. And he is going to... Actually, let's do...
Isn't it Mara's action?
Oh, yeah, shit. Have you rolled anything? No. Okay, go.
Not yet, no. Tell me, it has been a long time since I have been at Highgarden. In fact, not since the last time I was here for a trial. What is the word at court these days? I understand your position, so please, what is of interest at the moment among the nobles?
You are asking the right person. Just some usual gossip. The usual digs, the usual noble folly. People are wont to talk, are they not?
Of course. It would not be court if nobody spoke and whispered rumours. Tell me, I am curious, though, and you must know. And I value honesty in a lord, especially one who serves at the seat of Highgarden. What do they say about me?
Ooh. Go on, roll your action, go on.
And I think she's trying to kind of she's trying to be laid back in the sense of like it doesn't bother her. She's not trying to find this out for any insidious means. She's genuinely just curious. She kind of wants him to like her as somebody who's upfront and
Yeah.
that she knows what he does, but he can just tell her things related to her. It's not she's not trying to start any drama as such. She's just it's kind of that, like, and indulge me, entertain us both and laugh at something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this is probably just a convince. She's trying to see if she can get him to tell her and
Sure.
maybe perhaps like that she's asking. Oh gosh, I have to remember where I add things to now. So she gets I think it's a flat +1 because I remember some stuff changed, but I haven't updated it on the sheet because I'm the worst. And then I think she has 1 bonus dice. Hold on, I have to roll this separately. It's been that long. How do I use roll 20 again? So 28 total, I think. Yes, I can do math. Yeah, 28.
Will be a crit, so you'll get 2 6s out of that. 4 degrees of success.
Oh.
Wait, I think so. 17. Yeah. Wait, what was the result?
27. 28. 6. Yeah, 20. I can't count. 28.
28.
I can't do math.
So you find
17, 27. Gone once, gone twice.
Yeah. Oh God, no.
I'm sorry, Sam. Now I'm making you do math.
That's all right. It's 16 above.
Somebody bust out a calculator real quick.
I literally have. It's 16 above, which I think is 3 degrees.
Yes.
Don's holding up 4 fingers.
What?
Or no, yeah, 4 because it's 1 degree and then 5 and 10 is 2. 10.
I haven't worked out how the
is
degrees
3.
things worked in the 2 years we've been playing, so
4 degrees.
Let's call it
do
4 and call it a day.
Let's do it. So, I mean, check out the cheat sheet. This is 4 times your will rank.
where is my will rank? 16 in total.
Oof.
Yeah, never let Mara talk. She's a problem.
16, you said, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah, okay, fair enough. So you win. Were you after information as your objective?
Pretty much, yeah. It's kind of like she just wants to know what he's heard because she already knows what's being said in court, but she's trying to open this dialogue in the hopes that maybe it makes him like her a bit more. But she can just take that and not worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. From what you'd expect, he is obviously very apologetic in front of you, but he says that my lady asks, and so I must admit that the court is rife with gossip about you and Lord Samwell.
Does not surprise me. It was the same at the tournament.
Well, exactly. Quite the possible stain on your house, my lord.
I tend not to worry too much about the opinions of people who most have never met me and most I have no concern for. People will talk about anything if they have nothing else to do.
Oh, neither do I, my lady. Neither do I.
And please, feel no need to be apologetic, I asked. I'm sure there are far worse things that have been said about far better people.
Yes. When you come more from business acumen than you do with the noble court, you soon realize that everything is a negotiation. And except for gossip. Gossip is never a negotiation. It is a...
No, but it can make very good currency, as I am led to believe.
That depends. There's a lot of fool's gold out there.
That there is. But I suppose that's why Lord Leo has hired you to sort the fool's gold from the true coin.
And more so in actual coin too. Thank you for the wine. I will see you on the morrow.
Thank you.
And yeah, he excuses himself and heads off shortly after that with the entourage that heads out. Samwell, as you head back into camp, you pass a few groups of soldiers who are again singing a very bawdy tune, but one that isn't so familiar to you. Sounds, particularly by the way that some of the wording and some of it is sung, that this is a like a kind of rough translation of maybe a pirate's tune or a narrow sea, something from across the narrow sea. But as you slowly dismount and get your horse seen to be posted up, you hear a voice behind you just say, my lord, Sir Samwell.
Slowly turns around to see who's accosting him. Smile on his face.
And holding a wine goblet and in a rather neat black and gold doublet, you turn around to see Lord Costain with his ginger chops and receding hairline. Yeah. The chops are growing. No, they're not. Infinitely. You see him kind of walking towards you, and as someone is kind of passing more wine from a pitcher around, he grabs another goblet and then he walks up to you and says, how are you this day?
I'm fine, Lord Costain. I'm sorry I did not know that you were here in camp.
I didn't exactly make my presence known. I was rather just here to enjoy myself. Slightly more away from the white walls of Highgarden.
Of course. Well, you are welcome here. Everyone is, in fact. What are you doing right now?
Right now, my lord, I am giving you a goblet of wine. He kind of presses it into your hands.
He takes it. He doesn't drink. Not yet.
Okay. Yeah, the rest of your crew are riding up and they're starting to dismount and, start to untie the boar that they've still got on the back of the horse. And Lord Costain says, been availing yourself of the local fair, I see.
Yes, of course. The men must eat, after all, and the lands around Highgarden are so plentiful.
Absolutely. It's often boggles the mind why they built such a grand castle all those years ago in what is ostensibly the middle of nowhere. But it's must have been quite fervent when in the eons ago when the first men roamed these lands.
I suspect that the lords thought that somehow building such a tall castle here in these lands made them feel when they looked down from their towers like they were still a part of the world. No, I find personally that everything that happens within the walls of Highgarden are quite far away from the rest of the world. Sequestered.
Yes, absolutely. It has some kind of ability to contain the court about it, doesn't it? Maybe it's the 3 curtain walls and the briar patch in the middle of the of those circular walls that keeps everything in and a lot of people out. But quite often, for lords such as ourselves, it calls us back and we must answer and head into those creamy white halls. You've
Lord
decided
Costain,
you've decided to stay out here, though.
For now, perhaps when the trial comes to pass, I'll witness it myself. I thought Lord Leo Tyrell might find it considerate that our host remained outside of the walls of Highgarden.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure his lordship would prefer you not to have a host here at all, but yet here we are.
Here we are. Would you care to finish this glass of wine in my tent, Lord Costain?
Of course, of course. And he just follows you.
Yeah. He'll stop and tell Gregor to go ahead and unpack and let the man get to work for all the things they have to do in preparation for the night, sort of weatherproofing the camp and getting the food ready. And he'll lead Costain to his tent, which I imagine is, it's larger than most, but fairly Spartan on the inside. Just a few touches, like his armor is in an armor stand, presented perfectly, polished every single day, like little things that remind him of the sort of wealth that he often misses when he's out in the wild.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't remark on anything in particular, but he, takes any seat or anything that you'd invite him to do.
Mm-hmm.
And continues to enjoy a goblet of wine.
Is it just to visit and get away from Highgarden for the day that has you here in our camp, Lord Costain, or is there something you wish to talk about or something you wish to know? I am an open book.
That's a refreshing statement for someone here. The seat of power of the Reach. Normally I have to navigate my way through people's own personal briar patches, ones they construct in their mind and ones that they build with their lips. No, not anything in particular. I was hoping to maybe catch up with yourself, your father.
Well, my mind's not sharp enough to construct briar patches, and I find that honesty is typically the best policy, and something, as you said, is relatively undervalued in the Reach. We are doing well here. Of course, you heard what happened to Lady Mara, the reason why we are here, seeking justice. And while I have my reservations that Lord Tyrell will deliver it, we are doing our part in encouraging him to do just that.
He nods and he smiles knowingly. And then he says, yes, terrible, terrible business with Lady Mara. It's good that she has you, though, and that you're taking care of her.
That she is a valuable ally within the Reach. She has a much sharper mind than I do, in fact.
I do not doubt it. I've spoken to her on several occasions, and she demonstrates as such every single time.
What news do you have from Highgarden? Anything interesting that you'd wish to share that I might find valuable out here in keeping the peace?
I believe it's Lord Sloane, and he points out the tent, the kind of slither, the crack in the tent flaps at the front, who's just leaving here, that is come to tell you, and Lady Mara, and your father, that Lady Marcia is to have a trial by ordeal, one of the first in several years to have been incurred in the Reach, and she is to fight some kind of deer or stag, from what I hear.
She is to fight a stag herself?
Or she is to cast some spell and get it under her control.
And do you believe that such a thing is possible? In your experience, have you ever seen it or witnessed something that makes you believe that the whispers could be true?
Don't get me wrong. The relationship, shall we say, that she had with that beast is strange and slightly disturbing. Whilst I was there at Fox Hollow, I witnessed as such. But no, Grumpkins are for children, and stories told by nanas knitting at bedsides. As I don't believe anything in the rumours of this Blood's Witch, which the small folk love to talk about. Still, she commands a very exciting presence with that rumour, doesn't she? It's a very well constructed little mask she wears, probably. Heavens knows she might even believe it herself.
I suppose things for Lady Marcia at Fox Hollow have been hard these years. The pressures of leading the house when there are so many obstacles, so many tragedies in its recent history. I could see how she might construct this supernatural persona, like a shield to protect her against those who would whisper against her. But regardless of whether or not she can wave her hand and command beasts to do her will, what she did within her own home cannot be denied. It's a pity, in trial by ordeal, I'd like to hear her speak on her own behalf to defend her actions, which were certainly unjust.
Yes, getting some truth in the matter would have been better for the realm, possibly. But alas, I do not feel that we shall really get to the bottom of the matter. Or even see her guilt if she is able to tame the beast or quell it. She be given a weapon, or I don't even know really how he would go about such a thing.
I find the idea of trials by ordeal, trials by combat, backwards. I don't understand how this could be considered justice, and I understand that that is not a popular position to have. It is certainly one that if I could wave my hands and change something in the realm, that would be one of the first things I would change. But at least if it goes to trial, then Lord Tyrell would have done his part to ensure that justice is seen. I'm here hoping that there might be other news, other happenings in the realm as well.
So he's obviously being very pleasant to you, and essentially what I was doing was going to be rolling a charm as a kind of
Okay.
as a quick, simple intrigue rather than a full blown
We can do that.
thing. But if you want to let him charm you, then I can give you a free question, like a free, offer of information.
I'll do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
My little devil's bargain. Thank you, the rightful Queen of Dawn. I don't know who that is. Couldn't tell you. Test die for Marts, yeah. Cool. All right. So yeah. So I mean, he spends more time here with you and with your father, and there's a bit of carousing and a bit of drinking and this kind of thing, kind of into the evening. But he does leave before it really gets rowdy, kind of with the singers at night. But yeah. So what is that one question that you want to get that I might have to make up the answer to, if depending on what it is?
Samuel's not gonna ever like ask directly, but they're
Yeah.
both doing that thing where they're speaking around each other
Yeah.
so that they understand each other. Costain's a friend of the family. Samuel knows that Costain has connections to some of the dealings that he doesn't understand. He doesn't know everything that House Tarly is getting into because his father hasn't fully confided in him yet, but he wants to. So the question, the meta question that Tarly is trying to find out is, I'll just ask it.
Yeah, go on.
What's going on? What's going on with Aegon River? What's going on with Blackfyre?
Okay. Yeah. This is probably kind of late into the evening, and just before he leaves, and like, the servants have been excused and stuff like that, and they're just it's yourself, your father, and he's talking, and he admits that he hasn't heard anything of the Blackfyres of Aegon Rivers for years. He tried to keep his ear to the ground, and he tried to find out what bits of information he could from across the Narrow Sea, like anything. Like, he would nip into Old Town, check with traders. They'd often have a little bit of stories. He was able to piece together that they were kind of out there for a while. And then obviously the kingdom, the Seven Kingdoms will know that there was the Siege of Tyrosh, which is this kind of big naval battle in the port.
I remember.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
That failed. But he literally admits he hasn't heard anything since then, really.
He just casually would probably only say in response, "Well, I'm sure they haven't gone anywhere. Not really. I wonder what they're up to."
And why is that, my lord?
I find that we at court can focus on such small matters, such personal matters, old grudges. Even my father and some of the other lords that are friends of our house are more concerned with raiding parties in Dorne that accomplish very little in the long run. And yet, there is something bigger happening in this world that affects us all. And we all just forget that it's there.
Not forgotten, Sir Samuel. Do not confuse that with treason. And before we talk any more of treason, perhaps that is my cue, as I must admit I am somewhat in my cups. Good evening to the both of you.
Good evening. And see you tomorrow, I imagine.
And he nods and he puts down the wine cup, and you can see that in his walk there is a little bit of a sway. Yeah, like a little bit of a stagger. Okay, cool. Marcia. So next day comes, and the small kind of drain-like window in your jail cell wall at the very top lets you know that the sun has come up on this day in Highgarden. After a couple of hours, you're given breakfast, perhaps your last, and you are told that the trial by ordeal will be in a few hours' time. So you have some time to have a little wash, a little bit of time to prepare yourself mentally for what could be ahead. You've not been told at this juncture what your trial will kind of contain, as it were. But that you're not sure whether is to be expected or not from a trial by ordeal. The court is not as familiar with them as they are kind of trials by combat or not regular kind of trials and stuff like that. Is there anything you would like to do in the last couple of hours down here that you'd get up to?
So with her breakfast, she'll take, imagine again there's bread, and she'll take crumbs from it and she'll line it up in rows of 7 on that drain window. She'll go all the way up into her tiptoes, climb onto the side table if she needs to, and she'll line up the crumbs and gaze out into the morning, and she'll close her eyes and listen to the morning birds. With the landscape around Highgarden, I imagine there's going to be a load of songbirds just happily playing away. And I think occasionally she's going to try and push her mind, as she's done with ravens in the past, and reach. And she's going to reach once more towards her mentor, and she's going to call out to those many, many eyes. And she'll probably spend about an hour just doing that. Not sure if she hopes for an answer, not sure if she believes she'll be heard, but she'll do that. And when she tires from that, she'll turn back to the breakfast and pick through it. And
as you turn back to your breakfast, you are standing in the Godswood of Highgarden with the 3 singers, as they're known, the 3 great weirwood trees facing in towards you. One of them crying in mourning, the other laughing in joy, and another singing in song. You hear a caw from your left, and on a branch is a raven that kind of, clips its head from side to side. One eye completely black, one eye a blood red.
She'll slowly incline her head and bow towards the raven and whisper, "Bala Morghulis."
And it seems to call back, "Bala Darius."
And all women too. And I am a servant, am I not?
And it kind of tilts its head at confusion at that point.
Suppose we shall see if the masters favour the servant today.
It flies off in the kind of direction of the kind of main yard that's just kind of around the corner of this large stone wall of the one side of the keep. And it stops on the ground maybe 20 foot in front of you, turns around with its red eye and caws back at you.
She follows.
And you follow it flutter and sometimes loop round as you catch up. And it takes you to a strange kind of construction as this kind of large walled off area has been constructed with these kind of makeshift wooden walls. It looks a little bit like a kind of more contained melee arena for a tournament. Normally, it's more kind of fencing and ropes and flags, but there are no flags here. No standards have risen out of the ground, and as you approach it, the wooden wall is made out of these kind of planks. Is about 5 foot high, and looking to your right-hand side from where you are, you can see the steps up, these kind of big steps up to the sept, provide a kind of essentially a vantage point for people to stand and to look in on that little arena.
What a pit they have built me.
And the raven lands on the wooden kind of planked wall, and kind of looks at you intently with its red eye.
You owe me nothing, Your Grace. But I'll ask anyway. I think I need your help to fly. Help me fly. I'll help you. Punish those who would break that peace so hard fought for.
It caws again, question, and it tilts its head a little bit back and forth as you speak. And then you hear from, it's probably like the stable, strangely, just beyond this little arena, this cry of a deer, of a buck by the sounds, as it's, crying for its life, a piercing kind of dog-like yelp that keeps screaming. And then as you turn towards it, now you're inside these makeshift arena walls, maybe 30 foot across. And coming at you is this injured, huge, like really overly large red stag that's, snorting and angry and charging you down. And just before its impact, there's a rap on the door. And it's unlocked. And then it is Sir Wayne Oakheart with a guard. And he says, "My lady, we are ready for you now."
Thank you, Segway. She'll turn back to the half picked up breakfast and grab, I think, a grape or two and crush them into her hand and feel that stickiness. And then she's going to just carefully manufacture the motions of tidying up her herbs and things on her kind of side table. But what she's actually doing, Sam, is she wants to get a ton of those herbs just stuck to her hands.
Yeah.
Just a ton of them, just covering her hands, using the grape juice as like a glue almost.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So you are frog marched out towards the sept. You obviously take a different route, but by the time that you turn left round one of the great kind of corner towers of the keep, you see a vision of what you expect from what you've already seen. There's this kind of small kind of palisade that's been built into as a little arena, about 30 foot wide. On now your left-hand side, you can see the sept that's built into High Garden, this grand stained glass structure with its bouncing rainbow reflections off from the kind of mid-morning sun. There is a crowd underneath it, stood on the steps. At the very top, you can see Lord Leo and a fair amount of his small council. You can also see the Tarly party. You see Lord Samwell. You see Lady Mara as well, stood just by Lord Leo Tyrell. As you're marched into that little arena, it is the Maester Godric that steps forward and addresses everyone who is here. At this point, there is another crack of thunder, and very timely, a rain. You know that rain that just starts to pour down onto the scene in front of us. Just put off for a second, Godric recomposes himself and he says, Lady Marcia of House Greenmont, Lady of Fox Hollow, you are accused of the attempted murder of Lady Mara of House Oakheart. Your plea shall not be heard, for you have demanded a trial by ordeal, and so only the gods shall know of your guilt. The trial shall take place in these grounds. There you shall confront an injured stag, a great red stag that has been brought here from the hunting grounds of Highgarden at his lordship's great expense. Should the stag kill you, or should you yield, you will be found guilty of this crime, and the shadow cat in your charge shall be killed. Should you tame or kill the stag, you shall be found innocent of the charges brought against you, and your companion shall go free. And as a Septon speaks these next words, you can hear that kind of slit, that stab into the hide of the red stag, and you hear its yelping and screams as the Septon says, May the crone offer us wisdom and guidance. May the smith lend you his strength. May the mother have mercy, and may the father above judge you fairly. And as this yelping continues, you are escorted into this little arena. There's a kind of weird, little gated, door on the other side. There is a spear in here with you. There is a short bow as well. And after a moment of anxious waiting, as this rain slaps across your face and starts to dampen your hair, this poor unfortunate buck is shoved into the arena with you. It kicks and backs up against the wall. It smashes round to one side into the wall, and then it kind of backs up and tries to find its feet, and its eyes find you. Please roll me agility quickness just to get the turn order.
And for the first time in Marcia's history, her drawback of inept is going to be a pain. I can tell. All right. Agility. I got quickness. No bonus dice. And I have to reroll sixes and take the result. So I'll just do a d6. Roll the 6 again, so it stands 11.
Nice. Okay. So you are going to go first. So let's say, for narrative's sake, that this deer is just setting off towards you. But what would you like to do first?
I think Marcia, taking in this situation, is going to focus only on this animal. She has experience training animals. She's trained horses and things in the past. So she's going to actually drop down and make herself slightly smaller, less of a threat to this angry beast that just wants out.
Mm-hmm.
That just wants to not be in pain anymore. And there's nowhere for cover, so she's just going to try and make herself small and shift to a wall so she can kind of try and slide out the way rather than being in an open, massive target.
Yeah,
Thanks.
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, so this is like spot on the textbook. This is an animal handling charm. So obviously I've got the difficulty, but what you'd be doing by succeeding here is improving its disposition one step every time.
12.
That is a success. So you've succeeded and you've improved its disposition by one step. So you're kind of trying to make yourself small. You're trying to kind of calm it a little bit, keep your kind of hands down, all the things that you know to do. What I would just say quickly as well is your green sight, I think. Let's have a little look. You will get a +1 dice in this scene. Imagine it's like a little free, another free one in chat. It's because you had that moment there that I'd forgotten all about the Blood Raven stuff, so it was cool to catch up with that too. Okay.
Gotta see him before I die, Sam. Come on.
Oh, totes. Okay. Where am I? Like red elk, doodad. Yeah, and it's going to charge you. Where is that? I don't think I'll put it in. Okay. Oh well, let's roll.
I think a charge has a +1d to something.
Yeah.
Because Salstraya has a similar thing with her leap.
I'm just gonna roll its hit thing. Got it here.
Leaping charge. Oh, it just gives me 2 attacks. Never mind.
Yeah, it's got its own kind of thing about stomping people here, so I'll just I'll invoke that maybe. So 13 with your against your combat defense.
Salstraya, get out of here. Combat is 7.
Okay. 2 degrees of success. So it is going to do 10 damage. And knock you to the ground. So you can take injuries to absorb that damage.
And that decreases it by my endurance rank.
By your endurance rank, yeah. Or you can take a wound and you will ignore all of the damage.
And an injury is a -1, right?
Injuries are just a -1, a flat -1 modifier to the result. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take an injury.
Okay, cool. No problem. Okay, cool. It took that -1. Yeah, just checking the modifiers that are right because it's already taken an injury itself, so it's got that applied. Nice. Okay. So yeah, it charges you down. It knocks you back against the little palisade wall, and then you slump to the ground, just prone, as it kind of bucks and kicks and moves around to the side, and is essentially kind of circling it to just again try and find a way out. But it will be coming round for you again in a minute.
As it collided with me, could I have used that contact at all? Because I would have seen it coming for me, right?
Oh yeah, if you want to do a thing.
Yeah, can I shove my hands just across its nose?
Yeah.
And just smear those herbs?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because what I'd like to do for my following time is basically to do a medicine or a healing.
Okay.
And use my herbal knowledge to have applied some kind of calming paste across its nose. It's now just breathing in.
Some lavender.
Lavender, yeah, I saw that chill shit, chamomile and lavender just all up in its nose.
Yeah, okay. What I would say is I would make this a medicine with animal handling charm as the specialty.
Yeah, I don't have a charm specialty, only a trained specialty because that's what you need for WUG.
I
don't mind just rolling flat healing. That's fine.
Yeah, flat healing, because I don't think you got much experience training deer either. No one really has.
And you know what? Because of the vision, that's what gave her the idea that she was going to have to deal with an injured animal.
Yeah.
And therefore applied that thing. I'm going to use my green sight to give myself the extra
+1 dice. Yeah, no worries. You've also got 2 dice in your frame as well, if you wanted any of those later.
All right. So I'm going to be rolling 5 dice. And I can't see why I rolled. 17.
All right. Yeah. So you've improved its disposition again. by 1 step. So it's currently, like kind of looking for a way out at the moment. So yeah, like I said, it's kind of stomping and bucking its way around the thing again. You've not gotten up yet. So as it comes round again, just to find it, it's not really directed at you, but it is going to stomp its way around and to kind of, again, not see you as a target, but just kind of get you out the way kind of thing, right? So this is a stomp as you're down in the ground. A 12 against your combat defense of 7.
7. So 2 degrees.
Yeah. That is 16 damage.
I take a wound.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right. And yeah, as it's kind of smashing against the wall and kind of, rising up and then trying to crunch the wall with its antlers, with its kind of grey antlers, it's your turn.
Sorry, I just updated the sheet. She is going to try and now get eyesight with it and try and do some serious Crocodile Dundee willpower shit on this thing because she's running out of options. She needs time for the herbs to work. She needs time for the deer to tire itself out, and it keeps colliding with her and she can't take it. I imagine she's got a great big kind of gash somewhere on her body. She's bruised the fuck from the first collision of her bouncing off the wall, probably.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd like to try and do. And I think within herself, she's beginning to say prayers to the old gods, and she's imagining all of the injured soldiers she's treated, all of the blood that's been spilled. Because this deer is just another injured soldier, right? It's just another noble thing that was in the wrong place and is being used as a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'd like to argue, Sam, is animal handling with dedication.
All right.
Thanks.
That's a good description. I like it.
And I'm gonna throw a bonus dice in it as well.
One from your frame.
One of the keep dice, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So that's gonna be 5 dice with 2 bonus from dedication as a waggy old gods bullshit my way through this.
And a
16.
penalty dice, I think,
it's already
has been
all in there.
Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. Yep. A 16.
16.
What did I say from before? I think that's right. Okay, yeah, that is enough to bring it to a kind of a slower kind of stop, and it snorts and it kind of backs up, and there is that I haven't seen it, but there's that kind of moment of you kind of staring each other out. I mean, it's a prey animal, so it's got its eyes kind of on the sides of its head, so it's kind of backing up on one side and then kind of moving to the other. But you start to form naturally, with your own ways, your own abilities, just a little bit of a connection with this animal, just to slow it down, just to calm it down. And then eventually, after what feels like at least a few minutes, it's kind of stood in the center of this arena, calm, and it snorts at you.
She is going to very slowly, she's been kind of hunched this whole time. She's going to very slowly go even lower, and she's going to end up sat on the ground in front of it. She's got nowhere to go if the thing decides to charge her last time, but she's not going to move. She's just going to hold her space, essentially, and just sit quiet and still. Just take a breath. And I think the only movement she makes is to slide a hand into the pocket in her skirt, because this is our world and we can have pockets in our skirts, and take a handful of dirt from the Red Mountains that she's brought with her here and just kind of squeeze it into her hand and just wait.
After a moment, you hear the Septon, and Samuel and Mara, you hear the Septon next to you. Not that loudly, but kind of call out, "The gods have spoken." And then Godric then says and declares that Marcia Greenmont is found innocent of the accusations of attempted murder against Lady Mara Oakheart. And the guards kind of pull open your door to the this little arena thing, and because it's Game of Thrones and pre-shit, it kind of goes to try and get out of them, and there is a tussle with the guards, and they then kill the elk as it tries to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just this kind of atmosphere in the air as the rain starts to let up, of people kind of not really sure what to do now, what happens next. But as they drag this off, you are essentially allowed to leave.
She stays there just still for a while, and then slowly looks around to see if anyone is lingering, if anyone has stayed, or if they're all done. And I think she notices that indecision amongst them. And she'll say, when you are like a stag in these coming months, used and wasted, let's hope the gods have more mercy than you had. And she grips her side and pulls herself up, and she'll slowly walk out. And in her head, she'll say another prayer to the gods, old and new, and express blood for blood.
Mm.
Everything is balanced.
Mm. And Salistria's familiar form bounds up to you after you've said that, and she nuzzles at your side. She kind of walks around you, as kind of cats are want to do, like kind of getting in your way and kind of not getting under your feet because she's not small enough, but kind of certainly getting in your way and kind of nuzzling and stuff.
The bloody, herby, sticky hand just kind of goes to her fur on her head and just buries itself deep, and Marcia kind of comforts herself in that.
Mm. I mean, at this point you're limping away, I imagine, having been like stomped. There's probably a cracked rib or two, and there's maybe a fractured or broken leg.
Passes that spear on the side, she's going to take it, and like the blade side goes down into the ground. She's going to use that thing as a walking stick to get out of here.
Yeah. Godric offers you aid as the Maester to see to your wounds. Or at least, he's maybe heard that you're a skilled healer, so it's at least assist you. It's not often that people can work on themselves.
And she'll instruct him to take that spear and set it in the sept before the warrior, and to have a prayer said for Miria, because the spear will always remind her of her daughter, who is far from her sight.
Yeah. Sure thing. Samuel, Mara, and Simon, what are the reactions from you and in the crowd as this finishes up?
I think Mara has watched all of this. And when she's arrived at court, she's arrived in that almost more stately manner because she's dressed for court. But I think under the heavy cloaks that she's now taken to wearing, that have kind of got that the vine-like imagery that her and Samuel have kind of shared as the years have gone on, I think under that cloak she has a tight grip on Samuel's arm. She's not comfortable watching this like the whole way through. She never wanted Marcia dead. That's not what she was trying to do. And so all the way through she is in this halfway house of kind of, she wants Marcia to yield, but she doesn't want the stag to kill her. But I think she is visibly disappointed when she's declared innocent. Partly because she is somebody who does believe in the gods, and she's deeply confused why the gods would, in her mind, bring her back as she'd asked as she was dying, only to declare Marcia innocent. But also she knows that she has to be visibly upset too. she can't look stoic here because people are going to be
Yeah.
watching to see what her reaction is.
Yeah,
And
I
if she
guess.
doesn't look disappointed, if she doesn't let that show,
Mm.
that will look even worse. But I think she just kind of sits there as people get up to leave towards the end of it. She sits there and she watches Marcia, and if she can catch her eye, she will almost give her not quite a respectful nod, but an acknowledgement that, like, okay, the gods have decided. At least between the two of them. If she can catch Marcia's eye just for a second, there is that. The acknowledgement that these two women do share some kind of faith in the gods. And she will respect that at least. But she is visibly upset and disappointed, and immediately Samuel will probably notice she kind of shrinks into herself just a little bit. Almost as if she suddenly doesn't feel safe again.
If I may, I think in response to the glance from Mara, Marcia will meet her gaze. And there's a slight inclination of the head in acknowledgement. And then her hand that's not gripping to the spear that had been resting on Salastria's head kind of goes out and waves towards the dead stag as if say, "You pleased? Look what you did. Good job."
I think you'll notice Mara look over at that stag, and she is not pleased. She's not pleased at all. And I think Marcia would know her well enough to know that that displeasure isn't that Marcia's been declared innocent. It's a different kind of displeasure than the displeasure she already has on her face.
And I think the message for Mara to read on Marcia, which you can side B how much she reads and how much she doesn't, would be, you're only going to get more things killed. That's the problem between us.
I think they know each other well enough to have that. Like, you know, they're about the same age. They have spent enough time together in their past to know what these looks are between them.
And then the hand goes back to the shadow cat.
Yeah, and Mara's gaze goes towards Samuel and Glendon Tarly and I guess Simon, because she hasn't seen Simon since before she got attacked. This would be like the first time she's seen him since.
Yeah.
That's not awkward at all.
Yeah. Not only that, but when you look to Simon, who was sort of anybody who caught a glimpse of him when it was announced that, oh, you're going to tame a stag, immediately he's uninterested. He knows the outcome, or believes he knows the outcome. He doesn't care. This is irrelevant at that point. When you look to him, Mara, you see a strange vacancy. And he registers you, sees you, but there is a degree of separation in his recognition. It's like he's not really sure what he's supposed to feel. And not in the sense of, oh, he's so burdened or anything like that. It's like, okay, next. And she'll notice very pointedly, he simply gathers up his robe, straightens up his chain, and leaves unceremoniously.
The look that Mara gives Simon is the same look that she gave him that day he accused her of not caring about Greenmont. That same very deep personal hurt and anger. Just a little bit of it is the look that she's giving him. Because he hasn't come to see her. She has no idea what he's doing. And here he is giving her a blank, vacant expression and just getting up and leaving. That is the look she gives him.
Mm. I'd like to give us this kind of parting shot. Oh, go Don. Sorry, go on. Hang on.
Yeah, I'll just pitch in because I have a thing.
Sure.
Most of the time during the actual trial, Samuel is stoic. He's watching intently, like his eyes are dancing as Marcy is struggling to survive. But otherwise, he's not moving. And once it's over, it's declared over, he gives just a small smile. And when she starts to move off, I think he takes half a step, like he's going to move away from the box. And maybe he feels Mara sort of shrinking in on herself. And maybe he notices there's at least some kind of look between the two, even if he doesn't understand it. He would just very gently put a hand on Mara's arm and give it a reassuring squeeze, and he would step back and stay there. But I would like to say that he has written a letter, and he's brought it with him. It's in his clothes, and he would have Gregor, who's probably there too, his squire, who just lean over and hand him the letter and say, "Please make sure this is delivered to Lady Marcia before she leaves."
Yes, my lord. Yeah.
Thank you, Gregor.
And he will go to essentially meet up with her at the Maester's tower. I believe it's for this little parting moment that Simon, as you stand to leave, Lord Leo, minus entourage who are following maybe a good few feet behind, sidles up next to you as you walk away and asks, "Well, the gods have spoken, but what say you?"
It would have been more prudent to ask before the trial, but unfortunately, I don't think it would have mattered either way. If you need to know my honest opinion, as you have requested it, I cannot declare as to whether or not, even with the mountain of evidence presented against her, Lady Marcia is capable of such a mystical connection. That is the only reason that I cannot declare such, as I am prevented by royal decree. What you do with this information is what you do, my lord.
That's where we'll wrap up the session. Thank you so much, friends. That was a frickin' juicy one. That was so frickin' cool. I particularly enjoyed the little bitchy knights at the beginning on horseback. That's my little favourite bit. And then, trials and stuff, big scenes and that. But, hopefully quite symbolic and, also fun. Alrighty, let's go around and check in and see how everyone's doing. Speaking of, our bitchy knights having a little go at each other, Don, that was a joyous little time.
Yeah, I loved it. I didn't get to interact with Sir Gawain really last season, and I always had on my mind, I was like, I wonder what that's going to be like, and now I know.
Yeah.
Now we know.
Yeah.
Oakheart
boy. Yeah. A cousin,
Yep.
not a brother, cousin. Not indirect line, but a cousin.
Yeah, sticking his nose where it doesn't belong.
Well,
it's all right. Well, okay. From my character's perspective, I had a great time. I really, really enjoyed it. I had missed playing with everybody. I thought like some really interesting things happened. I think it's been a while since we've seen Costain, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I thought it was really interesting that he showed up again. Maybe Ransel Sloan is a nice person, but his name is Ransel, and I don't trust him. And I'm just putting that out there. That's just a thing. But I loved seeing all of the different intrigues, all of the different things that people, like the character interactions, seeing Simon and Marcia, I thought was really interesting. And seeing Mara sort of navigate Ransel Sloan and the Tarley camp. I think I don't know where this is going, but I'm excited to find out as always. So yeah, I had a great time. Thanks.
Cool.
Thanks,
No
Sam.
problem, man. Do you any shout outs? Where can we find you? What you're up to? Stuff like that?
Yeah. You can follow me on Twitter if you want. I'm working on a few different books, like some big projects right now. I'm working with some pretty awesome people, and I run games and I talk about them. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll find out what I'm up to. I'm not streaming a whole lot right now, plans a little bit later in the year, but in the meantime, definitely follow all these people and check out their projects. People who are starting new streams and starting new projects. Check out the Spy game. I'm excited for the physical because I know it's been you've worked so hard on it, and everything I've seen from it looks so cool. So I'm pumped about that. But yeah, that's it.
Thanks so much, friend.
Not much.
Lovely. All right. I just corrected that Nightbot thing there as well. So it's just the Twitter at the moment. Brilliant. Thanks so much. And V. So we have our conclusion to the trial. Can she put it behind her?
I mean, I just want to say I'm really glad Marcia didn't die. Because Charlie, I love you, and I need to see more of this super sassy Marcia who's reached a new level of like
not giving
a fuck.
Yeah.
I need to see more of this, which is why I sent you a bonus dice share, and that was like, don't die. Mara never wanted Marcia dead. Maybe Salistraya, because she knows that fucking weird connection she has with that cat. But I think weirdly Mara is both relieved that Marcia lived, but also kind of pissed that there's been no justice. So it's going to be interesting. I think perhaps a bit of her wants to be able to walk away if she knows that Marcia will too. But I wonder if maybe that's a bit out of her hands, considering there's a whole host here that came to back her and look for justice. So
yeah,
that'll be interesting. But I'm so glad to get back to this. I've missed playing Mara with all the schemes.
Yeah.
And yeah, I might have sent you a message about one of those, Sam.
Sure. Yeah, of course. You know, we'll catch up in Discord and we'll be like, what do you do next? All that kind of stuff. What your objectives are. Absolutely, yeah. But, you know, where can we find you? What are you up to? Tell us.
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Tabletop Horde. Twitter, I just post my ramblings about things. Sometimes I talk about stuff that I'm working on. Right now, I think the only thing I can say that I'm working on is pictures for the Spy game. I got to put up a little teaser, so I can confirm what Don was saying, and that the physical rewards are fucking awesome. So you should go check that out. I also wrote on it.
Yeah.
And then Monday, I'm playing The Walking Dead. We're about to start the final season, so it's basically me just being really sassy about people's choices in the apocalypse, and mostly chat criticizing me for how ruthless I am. But they love me, it's fine.
It's the apocalypse.
It's the apocalypse. Look, there was one woman who didn't know how to put batteries in a radio the right way around. Okay, she's not going to last long. I'm sorry. As soon as the ammunition on her gun runs out, she's done for.
Rubs, mate. Yeah.
Starting not next week, the week after, I think. I'm sure Susie can correct me in chat. Susie and I will be doing Tactical Tuesdays, so you get to see the two of us co-stream, shoot all of the pew-pews, and probably upset all the toxic boys for being better than them at Siege. And Fridays, I say I do rotating games every other week, but it's usually Siege 2. So it's pretty much it. Go check out all these other awesome folks doing awesome shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jason, I really loved that juicy frickin' intrigue with Marcia. That was some awesome stuff.
Yeah, it was a lot of grandstanding on his part, I'll admit. You know, there was more than a few elements of deception. He was desperate to try this final avenue, this final bargain of like, look, tell me the truth. I just need the truth. That's it. And then we can figure it out from here. That he didn't get that kind of just solidified, I think, the reality for him of that disconnect. And I don't know, you know, whether or not he's lying to himself is almost irrelevant, because he just now is malicious towards Marcia, the last vestige of the Greenmont name, or, well, barring, of course, the heirs. But even then, you know, those are children, literal, actual children.
And your sister, Simon.
What? Huh? I'm sorry, I heard something. But anyway, she's off in Dorne. What the? Anyway, but yeah, no, it was a fun session, and getting Simon to be a little melodramatic was fun. It was great. So,
no worries, man. Any shout outs?
Trying to think. couple of friends of mine, dear friends of mine, did work on the latest supplement for Dungeons and Dragons. There were writers on that team. They've done some great work. I would send all the love to them. Daniel Kwan and Kiana Shaw. Those are the two that I'm most familiar with. But the whole crew that was hired to write on that, like, go follow them. Like, they're great folks. For myself, again, I've got those sort of creative nibblings sort of sprinkled throughout. Hopefully might have something more concrete in future. If you want to find out, at Just Jason Please on Twitter, that's PLS at the end. And yeah, can't think of anything else. Just thank you all so much. Virginia, Dawn, Charlie, it's so wonderful to share a table with you again. Sam, pleasure as always. And
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens.
And Charlie, welcome back, friend.
Hi, friends.
Good job.
Used everything on my sheet, Sam. Used everything on my sheet.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't get to like Destiny Point burning moments.
Don't have any.
Close. Oh. Oof.
Had none. I still had lucky in the bank. I still had a test size and a bonus size. Thank you, Virginia. Thank you, Pope. Thank you, James, for those donations earlier on. I had a few like little things in my thing, but I was gonna go like one way or the other. I was either gonna try every trick in the book and try and make it work, or I was gonna make you kill me in the most brutally dragged out way I could make you do it. I was gonna take all the injuries, gonna take all the wounds till her body was just a scattered mess on that floor for everyone to see. Read my guts. But yeah, it was very cool. I definitely missed this. Apparently I'm still very emotionally invested to the point where I think I joined the Zoom call and the first thing out my face was, I still hate your characters, because I can hear Dawn and Virginia scheming. But I deeply, madly, affectionately love all the people who play this game, and I'm super excited that Marcia survived, because it means I will maybe get to play with Millie very soon. Maybe we will have a final or a future reunion between Marcia and Miria, because they barely see each other. Last season we had a bit of time together, but I think there's a lot of destiny on the table in this final season. And apparently the Blood Witch's time is not yet here, but who knows when it may be. I still really want to unlock Skin Changer. It's the final step on this ladder of progression. It's the final step, and I'm working really hard for it. We'll see if she makes it, or if she's gonna get shanked by a faceless man on her way out of Highgarden, because it could happen. We've seen it happen before.
Yep.
We didn't know that's what we were seeing at the time.
The member of this house. Yeah. Bless.
So yeah, thank you so much for having me back. Thank you so much for letting me play. Jason, I appreciate you so much. It was a nasty, nasty scene from Marcia, but she's had enough of this shit. She's fucking earned her seat at this house, and she's not being dragged no more.
That's fair. All right. If we want to see you playing Cowboy Dollies, where can we find you?
Cowboy Dollies can be found over on twitch.tv/FrostandFire. I think I'm going to be playing on Tuesday this week, because Monday I have some secret work going on that I am looking forward to doing. I get to do some video and sound editing for some people who are very cool.
For us.
So looking forward to that. Well, I wasn't going to say who it was for, Sam, but yeah.
Doesn't matter. That's not secret.
Top secret. But I'm super excited to get to do that. I've had a couple of months off of working, and it's fun to suddenly be like, oh shit, yeah, I can do things. I remember now. I know how to do shit.
You're a very accomplished person, yeah.
I'm looking forward to doing that on Monday. That's going to be my Monday. So Tuesday, I'm going to be streaming, and there's a vote over on my Discord right now for which character to play. So yeah, I'm super excited to see which cowboy dolly I end up playing.
Nice. Is that Discord up on your Twitter somewhere if people want to get involved?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's my pinned tweet. If not, I'll do a tweet very soon with it in, so you can come on over and spend some time. But the Discord you want to be in is follow Black Cats. Don't forget to go and check out all the various channels we have with the Juicy Fruits. We've got Spoiler Chat, messages from Ravens, letters from Ravens. I went through that. I'd forgotten how prolific we'd been with writing extra shit, and now Marcia can write. There are going to be some new things. I can feel it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, cool. Thanks so much, friend. Yeah, well, that was the whole thing. So yeah, as always, it's an absolute pleasure to run this. This is my little playground, Westeros. Absolutely love this game and all these people that bring such juicy fruits to it every single week. If you want to follow me around the internet, that's RPG Webby. If you want to follow us, it's follow Black Cats on Twitch and the Twitters, and it's Black Cats Gaming on Facebook and blackcatsgaming.com. If you want to head over and learn more about our tabletop role playing, we just published a spy game, which is a 5e modern tabletop game about action and espionage all around the world, kind of set in a kind of world of tomorrow. We're just about to put that out on kind of a general sale just after we fulfilled our physical pledges. So head over to blackcatsgamingshop.com if you want to snag your copy. You can get the PDF right now there on DriveThruRPG and on Modifius.net as well. And that's it for us for tonight, friends. We'll be back in a couple of weeks' time as we do alternating weeks, because next week I will be playing in one of Don's private Patreon games where I get to be a fucking 6-armed or 4-armed Thri-kreen 7-foot bug. It's great. I have a great time. I jump at things and they eat me. That's about it. All right, so we're going to head off, friends. Thank you so much for joining us. Please do check out our Discord, have a chat with us if you have any feelings about the juicy fruits that have happened tonight, and let us know what your theories are as well for Aegon Rivers and what's to come. But yeah, for now, we'll be seeing you. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Thanks very much, friends. Ta-ra!